Hi, my name's Liz, and I've been caught reading. So I've been meaning to join the BookTube community on YouTube because it's such an exciting place to be, and I follow a lot of people on there, and so I figured that just diving right in would be a good place to start. Here I go. So today I'm going to talk about the books that I read in February. So the first book that I finished in February was Opal by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the third book in the Lux series. This is an amazing, sizzling hot romance, young adult sci-fi series about a girl who meets her next door neighbor who's an alien. The next book I read was Graceling by Kristen Cashore, and it was an okay book. Wasn't exactly what I was expecting, and while I enjoyed the world building and the magic, I didn't really like the main character, Katza, very much. After reading Graceling, I really felt like reading another fantasy book about a female protagonist, and so the next book I read was Brightly Woven by Alexandra Bracken, and this one is her debut novel that she wrote before she wrote The Darkest Minds and Never Fade, which I have already read, and this one was just as good, although since it's a different genre, it had different good points and different bad points. I really enjoyed it, although my coworker who also read it didn't like it quite so much. Still on the fantasy kick, the next book I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and oh my gosh, this book is amazing. Yes, it's about an assassin who's 17 years old, which doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense, but still, I loved this book, and the romantic triangle, while a little bit over the top, was still really well done. So after that, I read a book on my mom's recommendation, The Little Lady Agency by Hester Brown. It's a British chick lit book about a woman who starts her own business for helping guys who can't take care of themselves, really. It's a really funny book, and it has a really fantastic ending that just makes you root and cheer, and it's really fun. Next, I read Control by Lydia Kang as part of a read-along with some of my favorite YouTubers, as well as about 2,000 other people. It was really interesting experience to get to read the same book as so many other people at the same time, and this book was, as a science fiction, it was really well done, and I plowed right through it. It was really exciting. There were some things that I didn't like about it, but still, it was a really great read. Next, I finally got around to reading Scarlet by Marissa Mayer. It was fantastic and just as good as the first one, Cinder. And I was really excited to read this one, and really glad that I had ordered Cress as well so that I could pick it up immediately after. Next, because Cress didn't arrive quite as quickly as I wanted it to, I read The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong on recommendation from a coworker. She really enjoyed it, and I've already given it back to her. See, I don't have the book here, but I didn't like it quite so much. It was a little bit too modern teenager-y for me, and I'm not completely fond of modern teenagers. Next, I read The Archived by Victoria Schwab, which immediately went onto my favorites list because this book is amazing and you have to read it. You just have to read it. It should be mandatory. This book is just so good. Read it. Next, Cress by Marissa Mayer finally arrived. It's a thick book. This is the longest book that I read this month, but it was just as good, if not better, than both Cinder and Scarlet. And it was a wonderful third book in a series, and I am dying for the next book to come out. It has to come out soon. Why is it not in my hands yet? The last book I read this month was Ink by Amanda Sun, which is a Harlequin teen romance, which I don't normally read, but this one I just had to get. It's about a girl who goes to Japan and meets a guy, and things involving ink, drawings coming to life, and gods happen. It's really good. I read it in a single sitting, which actually isn't that hard to do because I work for 12 hours and do nothing but sit. So it's actually pretty easy to read a book in a sitting. Now for some quick statistics. For the month of February, I read a total of 11 books, which added up to a total of 4,411 pages. My longest book, as I said, was 550 pages long, which was Cress by Marissa Mayer. And of the books that I had been planning on reading, I read 4 out of 7. So I did better than I did for January, but still not as great as I could have been. And that's it for today. So I'm going to go back to reading.